whoever
You
you
are the
want,
one.
whenever
You
you
are the
feel like
one
it.
who chose. You are the one who chose this man to commit to you. Not every man cheats. See, a lot of females don't want to see that. Not every man cheats, and not every man can cheat.
I never said that. I
So
said
no,
if the
I never said.
relationship
I
ends
never
because
said
a
that you
woman
said
says,
that. I never
you
said that you
started
said
cheating
that.
and I don't want to deal with it anymore, let me
Then
end the
why did you
marriage.
marry that type of man in the first place?
Maybe she didn't know that he would start having these behaviors. Some
Then
behaviors come
clearly she
later.
doesn't know how to
And if it
vet. It's
happened
still
to
her
come
fault.
after the marriage and she now contributes to the statistic because the man started cheating and she doesn't want to deal with it, is that her fault? You're saying yes. I disagree.
Yes, because the
Because
reality
it's
is, you
literally
see,
his actions that
hold
caused the
on,
end of the
hold on,
marriage.
hold on, hold on. No, 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 no. It's the lack of her vetting. That is not. It is not. It was not her actions. This started way before they got married, and that's where you females fail in marriages. You think things just happen when you get married. That's not how. That's not how relationships
So,
work. Okay.
so
Hold on. All the problems that these two married couple had, they were already having before they got married. And that's where a lot of you females, because you love listening to a lot of divorcees or women online, they make you believe that everything was all happy and daisy, and then they got married and boom, everything changed. That's not how it works. There were always
sometimes it's not
problems.
instantly as soon as they get married. Sometimes it's 10 years, 5 years, 20 years down the line, after they have kids, after they get pregnant, after they move in together, just after they get bored and,
No, but
whatever.
what I'm
They
saying in the
start they
relationship,
start getting
in
into
the
toxic
relation
relationships because people start.
before they got married, don't you think there was already minor red flags, minor things that should have been looked at before they got married?
Like what?
Anything. For example,
I don't
okay,
think that's
let's
always the case, so I'm not going to
no, no,
make
that is
blanket
always
statements.
that.
I know you
No, but
like
that is always
blanket
the.
statements,
But that
but
is
I
always
don't.
the case, though. But that is always the case. So this is it. If you can't be able to vet a man before you get married, then that's the problem. Why are you not looking at, for example, if you think a man is going to spend more, so keep it simple like this. You're in a relationship and you want this man to spend more time with you. Just that simple. You want him to spend more time with you. And it's not a big deal, but you don't like the fact that he doesn't spend time with you. Why don't you take a look at that before you get married? Instead of getting married and thinking,
You
well,
don't
when we
think
become
that there's like, oh my god. I feel like I'm talking to somebody who's like never like, I don't know. I just feel like you're not in the real world. Like maybe you just don't like talk to people, but
I clearly
there's
do.
a
I'm
lot
talking
of
to you.
people who in the beginning they are one way and then they change, and it could be for any
Oh,
number of reasons
please.
why they change, and it's not always the other person's fault. It could, and most of the time it has nothing to do with the other person. It has something to do within themselves or within their own lives that causes them to change, not the other person.
Okay, then. So you said it usually is something in them and in their own lives.
Yes.
Now, when you get married to someone, are you not a union?
Yes.
Okay, then. So is their life their own life now?
For example, let me give you an
No, just
example.
answer the question. I'll ask you a simple question. Is their life just their own life now? Or are you now sharing their life with them?
Yes, I agree, and that's why I'm going to give you an
Okay,
example
then.
so you understand my statement.
Hold on. So when this person now magically changes within the marriage, before you decided to become a union in their life, you should have studied their life before, because people
Okay,
don't
can
just
I give you
randomly
an
change.
example
Go
or
ahead.
not?
Yeah.
Okay. So, for example, this one woman on this app, this was a while ago, she was telling me she was in a marriage, everything was happy, dandy, whatever. And then the man that she was married to, his mother died, or one of his parents died, or both of his parents
Unalived.
died, something like that. Yeah, unalived. And then after that, he developed a really severe gambling addiction. And a lot of people, when they go through stuff, that's why I say in their own lives, obviously they're married, they're together, they're a union, whatever. But it could be with, their own family, they're with their job. It could be any number of things going on within themselves, like mental health, who knows, just whatever. Then they start dealing with those feelings in unhealthy ways, and that affects their relationship with the person that did nothing to them. Does that make sense? Yes or no?
Yes, it does make sense.
Okay. So if that man who developed a gambling addiction, because this is just one thing that
he didn't just
this man
magically
developed a
change.
gambling addiction.
Hold on. He didn't just magically change. A lot of people that pick up
He
gambling
did because
addiction,
he didn't have these behaviors before.
Let me respond. No, you actually don't know that for a fact. A lot of people that actually end up being addicted to gambling probably gambled for fun. See, a lot of addictions happen even before they get addicted. It doesn't just, addictions don't just happen out of nowhere. You usually lean into something that you used to do. For example, like drinking. A lot of times, you would maybe start drinking when you're going clubbing, and you'll do it every Saturday night. And then you start doing it every Thursday night. And then something happens in your life. Now you're starting to do it every Monday. Then it leads into every Tuesday. And then it continues. So a lot of these bad habits started a long time ago. See, people don't just randomly start gambling. He probably was already gambling for fun. And she looked past it. She thought, oh, he's not addicted to it. Oh, he's fine. Oh, let's probably go to the casino together for fun. That's how things happen. But a lot of Fefails, they look past these little things. You see someone gambling. Not everyone gambles, by the way.
I disagree with you, and I'll tell you why I disagree with you. Because doing something in moderation or doing something sometimes for fun is not an indicator that it's going to turn into an unhealthy obsession, an unhealthy addiction. Like, for example, if a woman likes to have a sweet treat here and there, likes to have a cupcake on Fridays, it's not an indicator that once she has a child, she's going to go off the rails and gain 200 pounds. And you're not going to tell the man who doesn't want to be with her anymore, oh, you should have known because she liked the sweet treat on Fridays. You should have known she was going to gain 200 pounds.
Okay, let's use your logic. So if a woman is eating cupcakes every Friday, is that not an indicator that she's already enjoying a habit that clearly is not good for her?
I think having a sweet treat here and there is not a problem.
You said Friday.
And it doesn't mean it's going to turn into an addiction.
Hold on, Kim, you said Friday. I'm going based off your logic. You said if she has cupcakes every Friday.
Or like you said, even on occasion for fun.
Hold on, Kim, but I'm going based off your logic. Okay? You said Fridays. So if she's having cupcakes every Friday, this man probably likes to be healthy, likes to eat clean. Cupcake. Hold on. This man is healthy, likes to eat clean. Do you really think that it would be a wise idea for him to be with someone that eats cupcakes for fun every Friday?
I said a singular cupcake. And some people, they do Taco Tuesdays. They do a drink on the weekends. They do any number of things to treat themselves and have fun.
This is what I'm saying.
I don't think that's an indicator it's going to be unhealthy because somebody does something for fun. Anything can be unhealthy if you do it.
Kim, that's how, I don't think you understand what I'm saying, okay? It's one thing if you do something spontaneously, but I'm saying is when people become addicted to things is because they used to do it on a regular for fun. So it wasn't something that just happened. So if someone leads into gambling, then before they got addicted to it, they're already gambling for fun on a regular, just like people who have alcohol. They already were doing it with their friends every Friday on a regular.
So if I'm with a man who likes to go on hikes or likes to, get away and go off in nature. I should know that when he has a traumatic life event with his family, that he's going to run off every weekend and I'm not going to know where he's at because he already liked to go out into the wilderness for fun. I should know that because I was a habit
He
of
most
his.
likely, do you know what he most likely will do? He will most likely is gonna go off somewhere. He most likely be like, you know what?
So don't,
I wanna
ladies,
hold on. He
don't
most likely
get with men who like hiking.
Hold on. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is this: is that you need to be able to pick up on people's habits. You need, and I think this is where you Fefails forget that, is that you need to pick up on people's habits. And the good habits, you need to also see when it turns bad. You need to be able to pick up on people's habits because not every good habit is always going to be good. You need to also be able to see, well, what if one day he actually chooses to just go off on the weekend? What if one day he chooses to go to his favorite spot
and
in
ladies,
German?
Ladies,
And
don't
doesn't
get
talk
with
to
a
me.
man. Don't get with a man that likes to work hard because then he's gonna work all the time and have no time for you. And you
That's
should have seen
exactly
that
what
coming.
happens.
You should have seen
Yes,
that
that's exactly,
coming.
yes. That's, do you know what, Kim? That's
Yes.
funny that you say that. That's funny that you say that because that's exactly what happens when a man is successful and is making over 6 figures. Those men usually don't have time for their wives or their families because they are working long hours to make that money. That is true. If a man is most of the time working long hours to sustain a certain lifestyle,
Exactly.
then the reality, hold on, then you need to look at that and think,
Don't get with a man
if
who
I
likes
get-
to make money. Don't get with a man who likes to hike. None of it. Right?
it's not about that. It's understanding that when all these good things that you like about this man, do you ever ask yourself, what if this good habit turns bad?
Don't get with a man who likes to get a drink here and there.
Kim, it's not about that. It's understanding that good habits can also turn bad. And this is why you Fefails fail in marriages. Because you get into these marriages, but you never actually look at, he does this a lot. What happens if he actually gets addicted? He works long hours. What happens if we never have time together? He doesn't like doing this. What happens if he never actually, maybe he doesn't like going out to eat that much? What if he actually just not interested in doing that?
So what's a hobby that a man can have that he won't eventually, that I don't have to worry about? Because any hobby, because anything a man does for fun, he might eventually do to the point of obsession. And that's something that would be a problem for me down the line. If he becomes addicted to it, right?
This is where you Fefails.
So
this
what
is
is
where
something
you
that I
Fefails
don't
go
have to worry
wrong.
about him becoming addicted to?
Yeah, this mindset. It's
because I want to see it coming. You're saying I need to see it coming.
I'm trying to answer. It's funny that you Fefails will always make it about men, right? But the reality is,
I'm not making it about men. I'm saying I want to see it coming, like you're saying.
I'm answering your question, but you're not letting me answer. It's not about seeing things just coming. It's about understanding that everyone has flaws, okay? Everyone has flaws, and everyone's good habit or any habit is going to one day turn bad. So whatever that is in that man, you are going to have to accept at some point. It's not always
it's
going to
turn
be
bad. So no video games, no sports, no hiking, no traveling, no working.
Hold on, Kim. Listen, please. You're getting triggered. I don't understand why you're getting triggered. I don't want to mute you, but I don't know why you're getting triggered. It's the same thing even with you. A man also maybe has to accept, well, if she likes wearing makeup, she may post these very raunchy pictures. She likes wearing tight clothes. She may not dress modestly. What I'm saying is everyone has a flaw. And at some point, you're going to have to deal with that flaw. Now, whatever flaw you are going to have to deal with, that's up to you to accept. And just like he has to accept your flaws as well. He has to be like, you know what? There are some things about Kim that I may not like, but because I love her, I'm going to stay in this marriage and we're going to work through it. That's a choice that you have to make. Now, whatever you want to deal with is up to you. Does that make sense?
So I'm asking you, what's a hobby that I don't have to see coming because it might become an obsession? Because you're saying anything can become an obsession, anything can become an addiction, right? So what's something that a man can do for fun? Because something a man does for fun can turn into addiction that I don't have to worry about. That it won't be my fault if the marriage ends because I don't want to deal with it.
Why don't you ask your father?
But
That's my advice.
you're the only one saying this. So I'm asking
Yeah, but
you.
I'm not here to advise you on the type of man that you need to find. I gave you so many examples.
I mean, if I'm with somebody and I'm in a marriage and they are healthy and have healthy outlets and healthy behaviors in the beginning, and then they completely do a 180 and they're a completely different person,
People
why
don't
is it
do a
my fault because I
180.
should have seen it coming? I
But
should have
people
seen it
don't do.
coming.
This is what I'm trying to tell you.
But
People
you're
don't
saying
do.
I should have seen it coming
People
because a
don't
man
do.
likes
People
hiking.
don't listen,
A man likes hiking. I should have seen it coming that he was going to run off. So what's something a man can do?
People don't do 180s. This is where you females. This is why you females fail in relationships, because people don't do 180s. It doesn't just it. No one does a 180.
But you said, I asked you and you said yes. You said a man liking to hike on the weekends is an indicator that he's going to run off and I'm not going to know where he's at.
Hold on. I know I never said he's going to run
Yes,
off.
you
I said
did.
he's
You did say that.
I never said that. I said
You
he's
did
most
say that.
likely, listen to what I said. I said he's most likely going to go on a trip on the weekend. Yes, to get away.
Yeah, to get away, and I might not know where he's at, and I might not
That's
like it, but I
running
should have
off.
seen it coming.
No,
I should
yes,
have
at some
seen it
point. No,
coming.
think about it, Kim. If this guy likes to go adventuring, this is something that he likes. So what makes you think when he is in the worst place in his life, he's not gonna go off? Like, come on, that's common sense. If you enjoy doing something and then you are in the worst place in your life, what are you gonna go do? You're gonna go do something that you enjoy.
Right.
This is that simple.
Right. And if a man likes to play video games here and there, I should know that he's going to spend hours and hours on end every day.
You should be prepared. You should ask.
And I should be willing to put up with it.
You should be no, it's not about willing to put up with it, but
that's what you're saying. And if a man likes a sweet cheat here and there, I should know he's going to gain 200 pounds. I should know that.
And just like you're combative, a man should also know that you're going to argue over anything. A man should also know that you are going to be so disagreeable.
I mean, if he has this black and white thinking like you, then absolutely, I'm going to dispute that.
This is why women are the ones initiating divorce, because you females don't know how to vet. You actually don't know how to vet, and it's so shocking to you that, wow, let me actually look at this man's habit and see how it can turn bad. It's like you don't think that's realistic. And this is why I don't even give you females any advice. I don't, because I know for a fact that you're just gonna go in the streets, not you, Kim, but a lot of you females are just gonna do what you want to do. That's why I don't give advice. That's why I just debate you females. That's why I just debate you because I know damn well that you're just gonna lock off this live and go and get your cheeks clapped. It's just that simple.
You love saying that. You say that like every time I see you.
And I will keep saying it every single time because that's what you females are talented at doing. I will never stop saying it. So
everyone's just getting clapped.
If you can't comprehend that, well, there are going to be things that you need to pick up on in relationships. This is why single women are the problem. This is why.
Right.
You don't even understand this. I don't know how you don't understand what I'm saying. I'm shocked you don't understand what I'm saying.
What? That everyone's getting clapped because they can't keep a man?
No, about the habits. About how good habits can also turn into bad habits.
Yes, I agree that good habits can turn into bad habits, but I don't agree that there are always signs or that something that someone liked to do here and there is always what turns into a deal breaker that ends up ending their marriage. It could be something that came out of nowhere, something that they've never done before.
No, that's not.
The woman I was talking about before, he had not had those behaviors before, and he wiped out their savings. It was really bad. And I don't think she should have to stay with him.
Okay, so you believe some random chick on And this is what your females do, right? You're telling me some random chick on TikTok told you about her failed marriage. Like, come on. You actually believe this?
I mean,
She saw no
I don't want
signs?
to talk about,
No,
I
no, wait, hold on, Kim, hold on. Like, that's probably like the worst example you could use. Like,
mean,
honestly,
do you want me
you're
to use
telling me
somebody from my
that,
personal life?
no, I don't need to use, no, I want you
Like,
to use
how would that be
stats.
any
Give me
better for
some
you?
stats. Give me some stats. Give me some sources.
Stats on gambling
Yes,
addiction?
anything. Not just
I don't know
gambling.
how a stat on
To
gambling
give me,
addiction is going to help you.
hold on. Show me that, you know what? Give me some type of information that it's not women's fault. Like I told you, women are the ones, 70%, over 70% of females are the ones initiating divorce. Clearly, they are the problem, not men. Now, if it was men initiating divorce, the conversation would be different. Then I have to look at men like, ooh, why are so many men leaving their wives? There's something wrong with that. You chose this wife, you chose to be committed, and now you're leaving. There's a problem. I wouldn't even blame the women anymore. But 70% is very high. That is crazy high. So the reality is, you telling me about some random failed female on TikTok telling you about her husband that you don't even know, never even met in your life, and telling you, oh, I never saw the signs. It's dumb. It's really, it doesn't even make any sense.
I was giving you one example of
There's always
how things
signs.
in a man's own life can affect the relationship. That's what that example was for.
There is always signs, and this is where you females lie to each other, and it's either you lie to each other or you actually believe it.
So even if
But there's
somebody,
always
so even
signs.
if somebody was to give you a million examples, then it wouldn't be good enough for you because you just wouldn't believe it. That's basically what I'm hearing.
What I'm saying is, all of those millions examples are millions examples of the signs that they missed. See, people don't see a lot of, see, this is what I realize with a lot of females. Females will never want to admit that, you know what, I missed the signs. You know what, I didn't actually ask enough questions. You know what, when I felt something was wrong, I just felt it. I didn't question myself about it. Females don't think like that. They don't ask enough questions. They don't act on what they're feeling. They don't do enough digging. They just don't. They don't. They just say, hey, I feel great, and it feels good, and we're going to do it. There's always signs. There's always signs. I bet for a fact, if you can look back at all the men that you slept with, in a relationship with, you can look back and think, oh, yeah, that was clearly, you can tell. Guess what? Those are the signs that a lot of them miss. You can ask any woman, was there any sign in the past that he was a red flag? And they will tell you. So why didn't you pick it up when you was in a relationship with him?
I think that sometimes there are signs and sometimes there are not signs. Sometimes people are blindsided because the person does a 180. For you to say that never happens, I can't agree with that.
Yeah, no, people don't do 180s. No, people don't do 180s. Whatever in them is always going to come out. For example, do you think that one day you can be a smackhead?
Be a smack? No.
Yeah. Well, but with your logic, one day you can.
No, because I know myself, but I'm speaking.
No, that's not true. With your logic, no, you said that people can do a 180. So one day you can do a 180 and start taking smack.
But you're asking me, and I know myself. Some people, don't know themselves and don't.
But that doesn't matter. But that doesn't matter. If you're saying that people can change and just do a 180, then you, Kim, can one day change and start taking smack.
Sure,
That's
it's
your
possible.
logic.
Sure, anything is possible, but my
There's no but.
track
No.
record
So
up until this point
no.
says
You said
otherwise,
you
because
just.
I don't
But you
even.
just said that actually doesn't go with your own theory, because you just said that you don't need a track record to go and smack. You just said that. See, I told you that you need a track record of being degenerate or indulging in something. And you said that's not true. That's not true. You need you can't just you don't need to be doing A, B, and C to do that. So you're just going against your own theory. You don't need a track record.
I mean, I know myself, and I know that the ways that I handle with things that are going on in my life. So would that be the way I handle it? No. But some people,
when it comes to you,
when they go through traumatic life events.
So when it comes to you, the rules change.
Yeah, because you're asking me, and I know myself, but I can't speak for other people.
But that goes against your own theory, Kim. Your theory was this, okay? This was your theory. Your theory was, hey, people can do a 180 out of nowhere. And it doesn't matter what they did.
I mean, has this happened before and people turn into a crackhead? Yes, absolutely.
Hold on, Kim. No.
That has happened before, and it's happened overnight before for other people. Would it happen for me? No, but yes, it has happened before
for you. See, but that doesn't. See, you're not consistent. You see, the difference between me.
I mean, you're putting me in the example.
Hold on, Kim.
If you put a general person in the example, absolutely, there are millions of examples of that. Millions.
See, I'm consistent with what I say.
Because you're putting me in the example.
Kim, hold on.
That's why I disagreed with you.
Yeah, I know you disagree because you're not consistent. See, anything that I say, I will definitely apply to myself. So if I say people don't change, that includes me. I have never changed. And I will never change. This is who I am. I'm never going to do a 180 and become somebody new. I'm consistent with that. So if you ask me, Remnant, have you ever changed? No.
You've never changed?
I've always been like this, believe it or not. I've always been like this. So
that's interesting.
I'm consistent. I'm consistent with what I say. But what you do is you're not consistent with what you say. You're not consistent with your own theory. Your theory only applies to certain people, but not yourself. It's inconsistent. It's like saying, well, I believe gravity exists for everybody else, but not for myself. I believe that everyone can fall on the ground, but I can fly. It's not consistent. And that's why I say you Fefails lie to yourself. You can't be making rules that apply to everyone and not yourself. If people can change, then so can you. But if people can't change...
Yeah, people can change and I can change. But would I ever become a crackhead? No.
Smackhead. No, you can, because that's your logic.
No, I cannot.
That's your logic. But that's your logic. You just said that people can do a 180. So can you.
You're putting me in the example, so obviously I'm going to disagree with you.
Of course I'm going to put you in an example. It's your theory. So your theory only applies to everybody else except for yourself. Is that what you're saying? So your theory only applies to everyone else, but not yourself.
If you were to use some other behavior, maybe I could agree with you, but that's just not in the realm of possibilities. No. But have there been people that deal with the things going on in their life by becoming a crackhead overnight?
Why is it not in the realm of possibilities? Why? Why is it not in the realms of possibility?
Because anytime anybody in my whole life has offered me anything, I always say no. Like, I always stay far away from them.
So that's your habit.
Like, I don't want to touch it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to be around it.
Oh, okay. So every time
I don't want to experience it.
Has that happened a lot of times over and over again where you said no?
And I would never want to. There are people who...
You see how you're saying... Hold on, Kim. You see how you're saying is consistent with what I said? That things don't just happen magically.
But do you agree? Do you think that there are some people that don't know themselves and have not been through traumatic events to know how they would handle a traumatic event? Do you think that some people experience traumatic events for the first time later in life and don't know how they would handle that?
You just admitted that there's been multiple times where people have offered you smugs and you declined it. So what that tells me is all of these things that happened over and over again, you've done it and you've said no so many times that you know you will never be a smackhead. Now imagine if you did say yes over and over again. You said, yeah, I'll take it for fun. I'll take it for fun. Was that really a 180 or was that something that was potentially in you? because you did it in the past?
I would say like people who have done things in the past, they are more likely to do it again or more likely for it to become a problem.
Okay, then. So it's not a
But I
180.
there's also the case where people who just look at like the Disney Channel, all the Disney Channel actors, how they grew up to be, smackheads. Like people do 180s. Like what do you mean?
That was not really. Do you really think those Disney actors did a 180? That was not a
Yes, they did a
180.
180.
No, it wasn't one. No, those Disney actors. Listen, they started the entertainment industry when they were very young, and it's brutal. They were probably already taking smugs. They were probably already having to starve themselves to look a certain way. They probably had to lose a lot of weight. Probably had to do surgery while young. Even that So Raven, when she was a teenager, she had to do breast induction. So you need to understand what that does to your head. That's not a 180.
Yeah, I did see that interview. She got a
Hold on,
reduction
Kim.
because
But
they
that's
wanted her
not
to look younger
okay.
and
Then, so that's not
look.
she. That's not a 180. That's not. Oh my God, you changed. That's what the industry's done to
Do you
you.
understand? It's not because of the surgery or whatever. It's because whatever
The
they
surgery had a
experienced,
big plot with it. Yes, it
whatever they
did.
experience. Listen, because whatever they experienced, it created some type of trauma, and people handle trauma in different ways. So people can change when they experience trauma. That's all I'm saying. If the man is
No.
experiencing trauma, he can change and
Okay,
go from a
hold
Disney
on, Kim.
Channel actor
Kim, do you
to
think
a
these
crackhead,
Disney
and
do
then you
you
don't want to
think
deal with them
that's
anymore.
no. See, because you don't do you really think those Disney actors that became into a smackhead, you don't think they ever have taken smugs before? Do you think it was their first time?
It's everyone's first time before they
No,
become a
no, no,
smackhead.
no,
It's
no, no,
everybody's
no,
first
no, no,
time. What are you
no,
talking
no,
about?
no. What do you mean?
There's
What am I
always a
talking
first
about?
time.
No, there's not, because you've never had
There's always
smugs
a
before.
first time.
No, there's not. Not for everyone. It's not. So those people who became smug addicts, do you really think that it was their first time?
There is always a first time before you become a
No, we're not talking
addict.
about the first time. I'm talking about, all right then. So they have been taking smug. So it wasn't a 180.
No,
They're already indulged in it. No, really think
not for.
about it. You're being illogical right now. People don't become smack addicts out of nowhere.
Yes, they do. What do you?
Oh
Oh
no,
my
they
god.
don't. That's quite literally impossible.
Oh my god.
Do you know what it
So
takes for you
you
to
think
even
like
be?
you think people that become smackheads, they just take it once, they're like, oh, that was cool. Then they're like, oh, let me take it again a year later. And then they
Yes,
just
that's
like,
how it
okay, let me
literally
just become an
starts.
addict now. Like
That's how it literally, Kim. That's how
no,
it
like
literally, Kim. That's how it literally. Do you really think someone just has a traumatizing experience and then they go outside and become smackhead? Do you think that's how it happens? So you
yeah, a
think
lot of
people?
times when
No,
people
that's not how
experience a
it
traumatic
happens.
event, they
That's
turn
not
to
how
the
it
first
happens.
thing that will soothe whatever it is that they're
Yeah, but
feeling, and then they overindulge in that. That's exactly what
hold on, no,
happens.
Kim, no, that's not how it happens.
That's
Because listen,
exactly how it
no,
happens.
Kim, no, that's not
Yes.
how it happens. People indulge in things they're familiar with. That's what they do. They don't do things they're not familiar with. You know, just because, for example, if that's true, then are you telling me if something traumatic happened to you, you're gonna now turn to smack? Is that what you're saying?
No. Why
All
stop putting
right
me in the
then.
example?
So
Stop putting you.
no, because you need to understand how illogical that sounds. Of course, you're not gonna take smack, but you know what? You're gonna do something that you're familiar with and overindulge in that. That's what you're gonna do. Now, whatever you indulge yourself in, I don't know what you do, but that's what you're gonna do. You're not gonna just wake up one day and turn to smack. That's crazy. Like, just be honest with yourself. People don't just wake up one day because they were traumatized and go to a smack house and take smack. That's not how it works.
Okay, well, we can just agree to disagree. I don't think we're gonna agree on this one. There's no statistic on how people start crack, so
Say smack. Use
smack.
TikTok friendly language. Okay, I'm just gonna quickly acknowledge a super chat. Thank you, Eugene. Sent $20. This is not the first. This is not the first time I heard this talking point about comparing marriage to bravery. When you talk about bravery, you are talking about doing something against your will without benefits. You do not have to say yes. Facts. I don't even know why they compare it to bravery. Honestly.
When did I compare it to bravery?
No, not you. It's the prompt. This Fefails in the prompt said that marriage is, yeah, that's why she's there.
Wait, how is it bravery? What?
Because a lot of Fefails, they're bitter, lonely, and can't find a man that they want. That's why. This is why. Go on.
So the person in the picture said this?
Yeah.
Isn't she a comedian?
Yeah, she's a comedian, but she was very serious when she said it. She was on a podcast, and they were asking her what her thoughts about marriage was, and that's what she said. And she said, "I don't believe anyone should get married." I mean, it's one thing to say you don't believe in marriage and you don't feel like marriage will benefit you, but then to generalize marriage itself, it just really shows that single women are the problem. Because a lot of single women think like this.
I haven't seen the podcast, so I can't really speak on that. But
no, it's fine. So we'll just get back to what we were talking about. So I understand you clearly disagree, but there always are signs. So when these Fefails initiate divorce, 70% of the time, do you know what really happens is they marry thinking that this man is going to be someone that they want them to be. That's what a lot of Fefails marry for. They marry for potential instead of marrying who he is. They marry for, well, when we get married, he's going to spend more time with me. When we get married, he's going to stop talking to a bunch of girls. When we get married, he's going to be a bit more appropriate. He's going to talk to me more nicer. All these things. You think he's going to somehow just change into a better man.
Yeah, I have heard that before, that there are some women that they get into a marriage or they have children and they think, oh, because of this happening, the man is going to change. He's going to want to step up and do better. And I don't think that's a good way to think. I don't think that at all. That's not going to change him. If anything, he's going to be like, oh, I already have her. So they're going to get even more comfortable.
And another thing as well, the reason why I say single women are the problem, because they clearly are unhappy compared to married women. Married women are much more happier. How come single women are not as happy if they're not the problem?
There are plenty of unhappy married people. A lot of married people settle. So I disagree with that.
The happiest, though. Married women are the happiest. How come married women are the happiest and single, unmarried without children are least likely to enjoy life?
Where are you getting this information? Because I'm pretty sure I read an article that said the opposite. I'm pretty sure it was New York Times.
You read New York Times, please. Come on. Do you think I get my stats from an article?
No, there was a New York Times article, and it was referencing all the statistics saying that they all show that single, unmarried, no children women are the happiest demographic. That's what it said.
No, that's just a damn lie. It's not
okay,
true.
Well, I mean, I could go and find it if you really want me to, but
no,
I don't really feel like it.
Because I got the stat here. Married women are more likely to report that life is enjoyable. Married women with children at 40%. Married without children at 43%. Unmarried with children at 40%. And unmarried without children at 34%.
Where is this?
You can take a look at Institute for Family Studies. Married mothers are more likely to
report being very... Is this a .edu, a .org, a .gov?
It's a .org.
A .org.
Married mothers are more likely to report being very happy. Married with children at 19%, married without children 11%, unmarried with children 13%, and unmarried without children at 10%. Married women are less likely to report
Can
being
you like put this up?
lonely. No, why don't you do your research? The fact that I even told you, I was already being nice. That's the truth. The fact that I even told you where the source is,
Okay,
I was
so
actually being
so
very
I don't
nice
know
because I wouldn't even have told
how they
you.
got this information, but how did they gather this information, and why did these women report being so unhappy? Did they say why?
It's a whole article. So it's just about social
Okay.
connections. Some past research argues that marriage is linked to greater isolations, finding that Atlantic put it, married people are less likely to visit or call parents or siblings and less inclined to offer them emotional support or pragmatic help with such as chores and transportation. They're also less likely to hang out with friends and neighbors. So it seems like married people are just busy with their families while single people are not. So it can almost feel like, well, if I don't have a husband, if I don't have a family, then it is going to make you feel a bit more lonely because you don't really have that constant family with you. While married women, they kind of just go off in their own world and do their own thing.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely could be the case for the people that want a family. But there are also single people that like their single life. They like the things and the freedoms that come with being single. Or they understand that they're single for a
But how
time
could
because they
they?
haven't found that person yet, and they're not dreading life just because they haven't found that person yet.
But how could they be enjoying it if they're not happy? If they were enjoying it, why are they lonely?
I don't think everyone that's single is lonely. They could just have other focuses or other priorities at that point in their life. So that's not their priority. That's it. Maybe they're in school, maybe whatever. Who knows what they have going on, but that's just not their priority at that time. So that's not even a focus for them. That's not even on their radar. Like, oh, like look at all these families or whatever you said. I'm
It's not, no, I
alone.
never said look at all these families. What I'm saying is the result. It's not even the fact that they don't even have a husband. I think that does play a part because women need oxytocin to be happy. That's a very important happy hormone that women need. Not men don't need it just as much. So it definitely does play a part why women are unhappy because they don't really have that family connection and love, touch, whatnot. But if they are not the problem, then we would see that they would be a lot more happier. They would feel like they have more purpose as well. Because it also says here, when it comes to trying to find it here real quick. When it comes to having more of a clear sense of purpose, unmarried without children don't even feel like that. They don't even feel like their life
I
has
mean,
a purpose.
if you're born into a family, I mean, you can get connection there. You can build connections literally anywhere else. It doesn't necessarily have to be a husband at that point in your life. Just because you don't have a husband at that point in your life doesn't mean you're unhappy and alone and whatever else.
But this is what I'm saying. They are, though. They are unhappy. They are feeling lonely. And they feel like their life doesn't have purpose.
I'm sure some people feel that way.
Well, majority of them are unmarried without children.
Okay, so did you feel this way when you were single? Because everybody's single before they're married, so.
I think it comes down to what you actually
Did you
want.
feel this
And
way when you were single, was the question.
oh, I'm not gonna tell you my personal life. But what I will answer to that is
Okay.
it comes down to what you prioritize in your life and what you are doing. And
And
if
that's
for
what I said.
example, if for example you are say you choose to not be traditional, you choose to not focus on family and marriage and career, I can understand how they could feel lonely and unhappy and all these things, because career and money does not actually give you the things that money can't buy. See, your job and your paycheck is never going to give you what money can't buy. And that's where family, husband, children, and community and all these things come into play.
What are the things you're talking about that money can't buy? You mean like a family, like children and stuff?
I mean, love, purpose, fulfillment.
Okay.
Money
I mean,
can't buy those.
people can
Money can't buy that.
people can feel fulfilled by their job, but also if they have a good job, that job can give them the freedom to do the things that make them fulfilled. If you're broke, how are you going to afford to do the things that you love? How are you going to afford to
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying.
enjoy life?
Money doesn't buy you love.
How are you
When I
even going
say
to afford the
fulfillment,
basics?
okay, we live in Western society. Okay, so majority of people are on average income, right? So people can just about be on basics and then living basic lives. No one's living this high grand life and flying out and all these things.
But you're talking about finding true love. Like, if you can't even pay your bills, like, the last thing you're worried about is true love. Like, you're worried about survival. Like, so
yeah, I don't think you.
it's okay for people to have different priorities and get themselves together before looking for true love. I think
it's
okay.
fine. No, but it's fine if you want to work on having a career and all these things. But like I said, majority of single women don't even climb up the financial ladder anyways. Majority are stuck making 45 and 55K a year. And that's why I say I understand as well, because it's like there's only a small percent of women that actually make 6 figures and up. So everyone underneath that, you are just working your life away, living this average life, and you're not getting anything out of it. Whilst married women, they actually live this average life, but they live it with someone and build with someone. So I can see how married women are much more happier, while single women are not happy because you're broke and you're alone.
I mean, if you're looking at the average, then yeah, the average population is making average money. That's true. Doesn't mean that those people are unhappy or that they're not going to become successful later in life. The average will always be average. So,
and that's majority of single women. So that's what I'm saying. Money can't buy all the things that you would want to get through those times. Money can't buy that. You know, you're really just in this rat race that you may never even be able to win alone. And then the worst part is a lot of these single women also believe that they deserve more than they actually have, which makes it even worse because they have all these standards that men don't even want to meet up to because they're not seen as wives, they're masculine.
Oh no, we went down this rabbit hole. We don't need to get there again. We know they're getting
but it's still one of the reasons why. It's still the reason why they are the problem. Do you really think it's a coincidence that they're single and unmarried? Do you really think it's a coincidence that they're unmarried and childless?
Do I think it's a coincidence? I think everybody is single at some point in their life. It doesn't mean anything about them. It just means it's this stage of their life. Like, what?
Okay, then. So if you just think it's just a stage of their life, then
if you were single at one point in your life, did that mean that you were all this stuff that you're talking about?
Hold on. If they were just single at some point in their life, then how come majority of them didn't keep their legs closed in their singlehood and just work on themselves? How come they were getting into relationships, getting into situationships? If they really wanted to just focus on career and their studies, why did they indulge with all these interaction with men?
Okay, so all this stuff you're talking about only applies to women who are opening their legs. That's the real problem here?
No, I'm asking you a question. I asked you a question. It's not
You're
about your
asking me
problem.
why these women don't close their legs? I don't know.
I'm
You have to
asking you.
ask them.
You're telling me. Hold on. You're telling me because you're saying, well, the problem is why couldn't it? You're saying, oh, they were just being single, living their best life, and all these things. They don't
No,
want to
I'm
get
not. I
into.
wouldn't even
You
saying they were
said,
living their
hold
best
on,
life. I said they have
hold
other
on, hold on.
priorities
Yeah, they have
at that
other
point in their life.
priorities. I know, living their best life, whatever it is, whatever their priority is, that's what it is. So why couldn't they focus on that priority instead of opening their legs? If you really had priorities, then you wouldn't have enough time to get your cheeks clapped. You would focus on your priorities. So why couldn't they do that?
I don't know. Like, why does everything come back to getting their cheeks clapped? Like, I just don't
Because
know.
shall I tell you why? Because there's a huge contradiction to what you're saying. You're saying that, hey, a lot of these single women had priorities. Well, if you had priorities, why did you give your body to men who just wanted to bust a nut?
I don't know.
It contradicts your priorities. It's like saying, hey, I'm serious about my studies. Meanwhile, you never opened a book.
They never opened a book.
It was just an example.
I don't know who these women are that you're talking about, but that's
We're
interesting.
talking about the majority. You're saying that a lot of single women have more priorities than getting married and having a family, right?
What I said was every woman is single at some stage in her life. Sometimes it's because they have other priorities, like maybe they're more
Okay,
focused on
then.
their education at this point in their life. So they're not focused on finding that person right now.
Okay, then. So
They can't even sustain themselves. They can't even pay for anything. Like they can't afford to survive. So no, they're not focused on true love. They're focused on getting their education so that they can live a basic life. And then they can worry about all the extra stuff.
Okay, then. So even the ones who are focused on their education, majority of single women who go to university usually indulge in hookup culture.
Do you think that
Why would they?
do you think the majority of men in college are looking for a wife? Majority, keyword, because you're saying all the women want their cheeks clapped. What do the men want?
Yeah, men probably want to clap their cheeks as well, but we're not talking
Okay,
about men.
so like, what are we talking about? Like, you're
So
saying
no,
women are the
but this is
problem,
it.
women
No,
are
but
this,
no,
women
men
that.
are
Like,
not the
stop.
problem. Men are not the problem because they don't hold the keys to. They don't hold the keys to intercourse. Women
Okay,
do. Do you think about
people
it?
want
If
to
women,
smash in
if
college.
they
Okay,
said, oh no, hold on,
what
hold on,
about
hold
it?
on,
What does
hold
this have
on.
to do with single women are the problem? Like,
Because you said that they are prioritizing on their education, but they're not. Because if you take a look at the stats, majority of them are engaging in hookup culture. There is also a link between hookup culture and an increase of depression. So I don't know why you're making it seem as if they're. Even it says here, surveys among college students reveal widespread reports of negative emotional outcomes post hookup, including regret and diminished self-esteem. 82% reported negative mental and emotional
I'm not an
consequences
advocate for hookup culture,
I'm not
but
saying, I never said, hold on, I never said you were advocate for it. I never said that. What I'm saying is, you mentioned that, hey, they're focused on their education. But in this stat, they clearly are not. Because about 82% have indulged in hookup culture and are experiencing mental and emotional consequences after it. So what are they actually prioritizing on? Because it clearly isn't their education.
Yeah, I don't know where that is from, but I mean, yeah, I think hookup culture is very prevalent on college campuses. I think the boys and the girls want the same exact thing and they find each other. That's it. Like,
So
I
then
don't
they're
think
not
this has to do with
prioritized.
single women are the
So they're
problem.
not, no, but they are, because clearly they're not prioritized on their
There's a
education. They're
bunch of people
prioritized.
not looking for their husband and wife on college campuses. There are a bunch of people not looking for a serious relationship and
So
they
then they're
find
not
each other.
prioritized. We're not
That's what's
talking, hold
happening.
on. But so they're not prioritized on their education. They're prioritized engaging in hookup culture. That's the point. And this is why single women
I don't
are
know
the
if I
problem.
would use the
Because,
word prioritize, but
well,
I guess
how could you prioritize on your education if you're just getting your cheeks clapped?
I wouldn't say they're just getting their cheeks clapped, but I guess that's something they find the time for.
Do you know what hookup culture is? It's not just a one-time thing. It's continuous. You're hooking up with maybe one guy over and over again, or different guys over and over again.
Okay.
So there's a time in your university, there's a time that they have given to a man instead of giving it to their studies.
Okay. I mean, like once you have you been to college?
It's not about if I've been, it's the fact is they're not prioritizing.
I mean, once
in their
you're
studies.
done studying, you're done studying. Once you finish your classes, you finish your classes.
So why don't
And
you
you
go
can
and
enjoy-
continue? Oh, so you go and enjoy wood, yeah? Is that it?
I mean, if that's
Enjoy-
what they have the time for, then yeah, I guess.
So then clearly they're not prioritized on their education. They're not.
No,
You
it means
are
that they
no,
finished.
You're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. Really
No, it
think
means
about
that they finished everything on their priority list, and now they have time for
why
that.
don't they
I
go
guess
and read? Why don't they go and read? Why don't they go join a chess club? Why don't
they
they
probably
go and
do. They probably are in clubs, and they find the time for that too.
Clearly they have more time to engage in hookup culture because 82% reported negative mental and emotional consequences after hookups. So clearly a lot of their time have been spent getting their cheeks clapped.
Yeah, I'm not an advocate for a hookup culture. I'm not. I don't agree with it.
Even another study found that 78% of women who had engaged in uncommitted sex experience regret afterward. These encounters seem to correlate with heightened symptoms of depression and anxiety, which is not surprising why unmarried childless women are actually depressed and less likely to be happy. That actually goes hand to hand with the other stat that we just mentioned. Why are married women happier? Because of this. They skip that. They don't engage in hookup culture. They don't engage in sleeping around.
There are a lot of women who slept
depressed.
around before finding their husband.
Yeah. There is definitely not that high. Not that high. Not that high.
So all these women that you're saying are running around single, getting their cheeks clapped, don't you think they're going to get married one day and they're the same single women that you're talking about? Suddenly now they're happy. So it all works out.
They're not going to get married one day because by 2030, there's literally a stat that says between the ages of, is it 25? 25 and 44 years old, women are going to be childless and unmarried over 40 to 50%. So no, they're not going to get married. They're going to be childless and single.
I mean, I think those are the women that don't want to be married and don't want children.
Are you telling me 50%? So you're telling me over half of women all don't want to be married and have a family or have a husband? Does that even sound realistic to you?
There are some women that don't want that.
You said
so they don't seek it out at all.
I asked you, are you saying over half? Are you saying over half of the population doesn't want to be married?
I mean, I know that I saw statistics that were saying that the numbers are increasing. I don't know the exact number offhand, but I have seen that something similar to that. Yeah, the number is increasing.
Yeah, no, over half is not true. No. You need to understand.
I mean, I'm sure that there are some of them that are just
human.
like. I'm sure that some of the women in that statistic, they would like to be married, but there are some that don't care about that.
Yeah, you see how you said some. So it's not over half. There's some. Because we have to admit, we are still human. And human are going to feel lonely. And when I say lonely, we're not just, hey, let's get in a bedroom and... No, you actually want companionship. You actually want someone that cares about you. So to say over 50% of women are not going to want companionship, that doesn't logically make sense. We're not above our human nature. We're not
I mean,
above
I
that.
guess those women get a dog, like you said, and then they're happy.
I never told them to get a dog.
I mean, you said that they're single and they just get a pet.
I never said
So
that.
if they want a companion
I
and they
never
get a
said to
pet,
get a
then
pet.
they're fine.
I never said to get a pet. If you want to get a pet, you can get a pet, but I never came out my mouth. But what I am saying is, they are the reason why they're unhappy. They are the reason why they failed. They are the reason why their marriage failed. Because even the ones that got married and divorced, and even the ones that didn't get married, they all have the same result. All of them. From college, divorces, to even just everyday purpose. It's all just negative. Isn't it clear that single women are the problem?
I don't agree with that. But I guess
who
to
do you
you,
think is the
yeah.
problem?
I mean, they're. I mean, according to you, they're masculine. They're the problem. All this stuff. They're just getting their cheeks clapped and whatever.
So who do you think is the problem?
Whoever. I mean, I don't think it's a gender thing. I think whoever. It could be both people in the relationship that caused it to end. It could be one person more than the other person. They did things that caused the relationship to end. I think just because you are the one to, end the marriage or end the relationship doesn't mean that your actions caused that. It could be the other person's actions, and you find those actions so harmful that you have to end it. I don't think that's your fault. So, yeah. What if someone's harming your children?
I mean, yeah, but we're not.
Like, should you have to stay with someone that's harming your children?
Yeah, we're not talking about victims. We're really not talking about victims. And if you really want to talk about people harming their children, you need to talk about single moms. Because two-parent households...
Do you think that psychological...
Two-parent households have the lowest AB rates. The lowest physical harm, the lowest neglect. It's actually higher in a single mom household, not a two-parent household.
I think just being, like, absent or, like, just emotionally not there, or even psychological abuse, it doesn't have to be physical, is enough to leave somebody.
Kim, like I told you, it's not high in a two-parent household. It's really just not high. I've taken a look at the stats. Do you know what? I could even bring it up.
And I think you said earlier that cheating is not a good reason.
It's just not high. So in a household...
And you said cheating is not a good reason to leave someone. And cheating is a form of psychological abuse as well. So that is more than enough. Yes, it is.
Say AB. No, it's not AB. No, it's not.
Cheating is psychological AB.
It's not.
100%.
It's not. No,
it is.
Do you know that men and women cheat at the same rate? It's not really like a big difference.
And then I can only imagine, like, what you're saying right now is probably convincing.
Kim. It's not. It's
what
not
you're
AB.
saying on this live right now is probably convincing somebody. It's probably convincing some man on this live that, yeah, like, what I did was okay. My wife should still stay with me. My wife should still stay with me because she made a vow. Like, how dare she leave me?
That is so dumb. There's nothing.
That is what you're saying. That's exactly what you're saying.
Kim, there's nothing I'm going to say that's going to change a woman divorcing her husband. That's never going to change that. What I'm saying
you're convinced this live is for the men.
What I'm saying is you need to learn how to vet before you say yes to the man. See, what you Fefails
You're literally teaching men that nothing they do could ever be wrong. That's literally your message.
I don't talk about men. No, Kim,
no,
I don't
your
speak
whole
to
message
men.
is men can do no wrong.
No, I never said that. I never said men can't do no wrong.
That is literally what you're saying. What
I never
said
that.
About?
Have I said men can't do no wrong? Has that ever come out my mouth?
You said
No,
if the
have I
relationship
said,
ends,
answer my
then
question.
it's the woman's fault, not the man's fault. So the man can do no
Because
wrong.
I'm talking about women. I don't talk to men. Have you seen any man here? Am I combating a man?
All the men in your comments are like,
So
yeah,
what?
like these
The men are in the
Fefails. Like,
comments. The men are in the comments. And what? Am I talking to a man? Am I
those are your
talking to a woman?
fans. Those are
It
your
doesn't
fans.
matter. It doesn't matter. Am I talking to a man? I don't
Yes,
see
this
what you
live is
Fefails.
for the men.
See, Kim, what you fail to realize is I'm a woman. So I'm not going to combat men. Okay, it's not my job to interrogate a man. It's not my job
You don't need to
tell. Please, I'm speaking. It's not my job to tell a man what type of man he should be, how he should be, what type of father he should be. That's not my job. I'm going to leave that to another man to do. I'm going to let another man debate another man. I'm not going to go back and forth with a man. I'm not doing that. See, a lot of you Fefails are actually very comfortable combating men online. You Fefails are comfortable getting aggressive with men, comfortable telling a man what he should be, what he should do. I'm not like that. I talk to women. I'm comfortable talking to women. I'm comfortable debating women. I'm comfortable even going back and forth with women. You will never see me do that with a man because I know, that's not my style. I'm not going to be arguing with a man because I don't do that. So I know you're confused. I get it. You're confused. Why don't Remnant Princess hold men accountable? I'm not going to do that. That's not my job. I'm a woman. There are plenty of men on this media that hold men accountable. You want to hear other men hold someone accountable? You want to hear other women doing that? You can definitely go do that. There are so many people that talk about men. Look at Shira7. She's a bigger channel than me. Why don't you see on her live? She yaps on about men all day. Shira7 even tells you how you can get a man with money. Like, bro, you telling me Shira7's there? How many chicks are there right now? There are so many girls online that will give you all the information you need about a man. Don't need me for that. It's just that simple. This is my content. This is what I do. Go to Shira7 live and have her yap on about how you can get a man and how men ain't this or ain't that and how men are brokies. Shira7 is there for you, you know? Go indulge in her content. And I'm going to introduce Sarah. Welcome, Sarah.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
That's amazing. Thank you.
So yeah, can you please address the prompt?
So the prompt states single women are the problem.
Do you agree?
I can't really provide an agree or disagree because the title.
How are people calling you a Fefail and you didn't even say 2 words yet?
Kim, just let her
okay.
land. You can't be taking, listen, you can't be taking everything
seriously.
personal. Kim, people talk about me all the time. People call me pick-me's, people call me this and that. People say, oh, your life is there. Oh, like, just, it's not that deep. Go ahead, Sarah.
No worries, it's okay. So single women, I mean, we need to define what that entails. Is that single women who are unmarried, who never been married, who never dated, who never had a relationship? Is it single women who are current or former, sorry, not current, who are divorcees or recent divorcees? Is that like, because women, as we know, are not a monolith, so how are we categorizing it?
Because when you take a look at marriages ending, it's usually majority of it is women. When you take a look at single moms, majority have never been married. When you take a look at AB rates, it's very high. You know, a lot of degeneracy is pushed by women. Even when you take a look at freezing their eggs, majority of women are starting to do that. When you take a look at cosmetic surgeries, majority of women are losing their lives for it. So a lot of problems that are happening in single women's lives is because of them. A lot of reasons why their relationships has failed is because of them. A lot of reasons why they have low self-esteem is because of them, not because of men. And it's open panel, but you can respond.
No, of course. I like to give respect. So when you're talking, I want to give you the full platform because obviously that's respect. This is a debate. It's not a back and forth matching. So, um, but what I want to discuss is that first point. So you said that women who initiate divorce, it's over 70%. And from what I gather from my source, it's college educated women who initiate divorce.
Yes.
And due to that, there's a lot of nuances when it comes to women initiating divorce. It could be from the fact that they are carrying the emotional, mental, and physical labor of the marriage. And that can deal with, the 50 to 50 household debate and arguments. It can also coincide with financial responsibility. It can also coincide with psychological factors as well. So to just single out or sort of narrow that 70% of women are the problem because they initiate divorce, again, it's just a little bit more nuanced than that. And I know what you're going to say. You're going to say that then it's the responsibility of the women to vet prior to entering to those relationships. And what I would argue is that, do you believe that human beings in the very beginning offer transparency when it comes
Nope.
to dating?
No, they do not. Because people don't even know themselves. Like, to tell you who they are, they don't even know themselves.
No, I
And
don't
in
think people 100% offer transparency. And that's why vetting is necessary. That's the whole point of vetting. That's why they even say don't sleep with a man before he's your husband. Don't do A, B, C with the man before he's your husband, because people understand that transparency isn't always going to be there. And it's your job to see through the cracks. Vetting, that's really what vetting is about. Is trying to see how transparent is this man? How consistent is he? How consistent is his parents, his ex-relationships, his social media, who he follows, what he's like? You got to do that.
And I totally hear where you're coming from. I think the word vetting is being used, differently. I definitely think screening is probably a better term to use. And also, even to vet too, it still doesn't guarantee, that things don't change within the marriage.
Exactly. Because you can vet, and the way people are when they like you or when they're in love with you or when they want things to work with you is different than when they don't care anymore. You know what I'm saying? And if you're already married at that point, there are already kids in the equation at that point, and the person changes because they simply don't care anymore, how were you supposed to know how they were going to act when they stop caring or when something happens in their own life? That's what I'm talking about. Like, you don't know how people are in different circumstances. You could be the same person, you have not changed at all. You have not done anything for the relationship to end, but that person has changed. That's a completely different person that you couldn't have vetted for. Does that make
Yeah,
sense or no?
no, people don't change. I think when females say that people change, I think it's another way to escape accountability. Because now it avoids people taking a look at where you didn't do what you were supposed to do. So when females say, well, people change, the blame goes back to him. But if you say, hey, you know what? He was doing this early in our relationships and I looked past it. He was subtly aggressive to other people, but I looked past it. He raised his voice a lot, but I looked past it. He loved to smoke a lot with his friends, but I looked past it. See, a lot of females don't actually like to admit about the things that they didn't like prior to the marriage, or the things that they saw that maybe they questioned about but chose to look past and just used he changed. So no one can actually hold you accountable for where you chose to look past these things or where you chose to ignore these things. So this change It's just the same old rhetoric that females love to use.
But
And I
I
would,
just
I would,
don't.
sorry, I would just like to add, I agree that there's a small group of women
Yeah, a
who
small group.
don't take accountability for their actions when they decide to contract themselves in a union, in a relationship, in a marriage, you know, etc. And I do agree that there are a lot of things on social media, a few podcasters that make it seem like getting into a relationship or getting to a marriage is for the give and take, or more so for the fact that I want to get something out of this, so I should expect this. And the expectations are unrealistic. But I don't believe that it correlates to the 70% of women who do initiate divorce. And I
Right.
don't believe it correlates to women being single by choice. Now, if you're single because you can't get a guy, that we can go and talk about that other conversation. But I don't think it correlates to the argument that we're trying to present here.
See, this is the issue that I find is because none of you females, have said, oh, maybe they were both wrong in the marriage. Maybe
I did say that. I did say
hold on,
that.
We're
hold
not
on, hold
talking
on,
about
hold
men.
on, hold on,
I thought
hold
we
on,
weren't
hold on,
talking about
hold
men.
on, hold on. No, yeah, we're not like particularly talking about just men. We're mostly talking about women's behavior, but in and out, we do like try to make examples maybe about the man here and there, but it's not really about the man. But my point is, it's never that, it's always, I don't think women were the problem. No, 70% were made the right choice. 70% definitely had to leave the marriage. 70 is never, you know what? She did ruin that marriage just as much as he did. I never hear that. I never hear, you know what? She probably is just as bad as her husband. See, I know what I say. I just blame females majority of the times because they never really talk about where they ruined their relationship. And I think that's the bigger problem. The bigger problem is you females never talk about where you go wrong. And that's actually a bigger issue than a man actually doing what he does. Because you always are quick to say men are the problems, but never quick to talk about your problem. And
Do you
that's
think
that's a problem in itself.
so? Do you think that when men talk about their past relationships, they're quick to take accountability? They're quick to say all the things that they did wrong, or do you think that there are just as many men who don't take accountability as women?
I would say 50-50. I think a lot of men know that there are certain women that they just can't have. I think men are more logical. Which is why a lot of them don't get married for a long time or never have been married. I think a lot of times men accept that they probably won't be with a certain type of woman. Maybe they won't even engage in intimacy with certain type of women. Men get wake-up calls every day, more than women do. Men get
So
wake-up call
you think
every single day.
when they are in the talking stage with a new woman, that and when that woman is like, oh, so why did your last relationships not work out? They're like, oh yeah, I relentlessly cheated on her.
Yeah,
Yeah, I started
if a
treating her
man,
bad, and
majority, but this is
like,
it, Kim, though. But majority, this is it. Majority of men don't cheat. That's what I was trying to tell you. Majority of men can't cheat. Majority of men can't just find another woman to have intercourse with. Do you even know how hard it is to get a woman's number, let alone get her in bed? That's not easy. That is not easy to try and get her number and actually get her to text you back. Now you got her number. Now you got to run game and make her text you back.
so now men don't cheat.
I never said men don't cheat. I said majority of men don't even get that far with women to cheat. So when you're talking about these cheaters, it's not majority. Majority of men don't cheat. The majority of men don't even have intercourse.
I mean, that's one of the main reasons people get divorced. So I
Are
don't
you
know.
specifically talking about in general? Or are you specifically talking about a specific demographic?
I mean, she's just
In
saying
the
it's
United
hard to
general.
cheat,
States,
but
in
that if it's
UK?
so hard
In
to cheat, that just
in
makes it 10
general.
times worse that they still go out of their way to do it, to find the one woman that's going to
No,
give it to them.
the ones that
You're
go
saying
out
it's
and
so
do it,
difficult,
the
yet they
ones that go
still
out and
find a
do it.
way.
See, this is what you're not understanding. The ones that do it,
And that's one of the
the
main reasons
ones.
people get divorced.
Hold
So they
on,
go
hold
through
on,
all of
hold
this
on.
headache.
I don't think you understand, Kim. The ones that do it know they can do it. The ones that are cheating have always been that guy to get chicks' attention. That's the guy. That do you know? There's even studies have even said that men who are 6 foot tall are more likely to cheat. Why do you think that is? How come a man's height increases his chances of cheating? Why do you think that is?
Do you have the statistic? Do you have the word someone can find that?
So now,
Yeah, if you do your research.
is this
Please, just
another
answer
indicator
the
that I need
question.
to look for?
Just answer the question for me. Why do you think that is? A man who is 6 foot tall is more likely to cheat.
So what you're saying is that being 6 foot, this is a sign that he's gonna cheat on me. So I should have
I
known the
never
signs.
asked you that. I asked you, why do you think a man who is 6 foot taller more likely to cheat? It's just a simple question. Why aren't you answering it?
Maybe you're gonna say
I don't know.
because like that's what women like. They want a
No,
man that's
I'm
6
asking
feet.
you. What do you think?
I don't know. I guess they're that guy, like you said.
So the reality is, the reason why 6 foot tall men are more likely to cheat is because they have more options. It's really just that simple. They have more options. Okay, sometimes you don't even need to be good looking. If you're 6 foot tall, you're getting like that's like a man's version of pretty privilege. Yeah, 6 foot tall man is a man's version of pretty privilege.
But that's a stereotype, and you can't really
That's
use
not a
that as
stereotype.
it is. It's a social
How is
media
that? How?
stereotype.
No, it's
Six
not.
foot? Yes, it is. Being
No,
six
it's
feet
not.
tall? It is. It
That's
is.
not. That's not. No, that's not a social media stereotype.
It is.
A man that's 6 foot tall
There's
definitely is going to be more attractive to women. That's a fact. I don't
no.
know.
There's no
Yes,
scientific. There's no
there has
scientific
been plenty
correlation
of.
to that.
This has been something that's been studied for years. Okay.
No. How?
Yes, it
When there's
has.
no
Yes, it
scientific
has. There's been so many
no.
documentaries about it. They've studied thousands of
Highly-
women. Hold on, there's literally have been documentaries studied around what women are attracted to, and a lot of those women. I even was watching it, and it was even YT women at that. And they were telling them, they compared the short guys. They chose the short guys who had really good jobs and were more financially stable compared to the tall guys.
I actually saw that. There was like this really short guy and he was like it was a fake scenario, but like they lined up a bunch of men and the short guy, he was like a gazillionaire. He had like a million businesses and like a trust fund. He's like a doctor, won all these awards. And then they had like just like a regular tall guy like worked at Walmart, and then the woman always chose the tall guy over like the gazillionaire.
This is old information. This is nothing new. And that documentary was old. If you looked at it, it looked like maybe it was done, I think, in the 90s or something. So this is something that people have been studying for a long time. Like, why do women love tall men? They're still trying to figure it out.
It's being 6 foot tall is a privilege to have, and it's an advantage to have over short men, but it doesn't correlate that they cheat more.
No, it does.
It doesn't.
It does. It actually does.
Does not. It does not.
Does.
When you do have scientific, evidence to prove that, you can.
Why don't you do your research?
I've done my research.
If you don't know that, then
so tall. Yeah, I
That's
could
not
say
my
tall guys
fault.
have privilege and have
Yes, tall
advantage, but
guys
if it
are more
means that they
likely.
cheat
Tall
more,
guy, yes, they are more likely
okay.
to cheat. That's just the truth. They are. If you don't know it, then you need to do your research. But tall guys, 6 foot tall men, are more likely to cheat because they simply have more options. Come on. Let's. Are we going to lie and say if listen, if you're telling me 5 out of 20 guys, if majority of these guys
I
have more
think that
options,
there's
let's be honest though, because if
Be
you're
honest, we're
saying,
being honest.
yeah, let's be honest. Don't you think if majority of a certain group of men had more options than majority, they're not going to exercise it? Like, be for real. You're telling me 5 tall guys who are just getting nyash thrown in their face are gonna say no.
You just told me that men don't. You just told me majority of men don't cheat. So majority of men
No,
are
I'm
6 foot
talking
tall.
about I'm talking about
Are
the
majority
tall
men 6 foot
guys.
tall?
Hold on, I'm talking
I'm
about
asking. Didn't
no,
she not say that?
I didn't say majority. I said, are you telling me these tall guys? Are you telling me if they are getting majority of the attention that average guys don't get, they're not gonna exercise it? Are you telling me guys are really going to say, no, I don't want big nyash for tonight? No. I'm going to say no to nyash. Do you really think men are going to say that?
I think there's a correlation.
Of the 6 foot.
I think there's a correlation because, like, yes, they have more options. That is true. But I don't think there's a causation because women have unlimited options for, way more options than men. But it doesn't mean that they take every, TikTok friendly language, that every man that's thrown at them just because they can. I think it has to do with the type of man you're dealing with and whether he wants every single thing that's thrown in front of his face.
There's a difference because women can choose who they want to get their cheeks clapped by. See, they have the option to choose.
Yeah, the same way you're saying the 6 foot man has the ability to choose.
So that's what I'm
but just
saying.
because
So
he's 6 foot and he has the ability to choose doesn't mean he's going to exercise that.
Yeah, but he is going to oh, please, come on. See, I don't understand you Fefails, right? We all know damn well that men like intercourse.
I thought you said men can do no wrong. You said men can do no wrong, and women are the problem.
I never said that. I never said men are can't do no wrong. What I'm saying is let's just be real. I've never said that. I'm saying let's be realistic. Men, especially in their 20s, okay? You're telling me a 25-year-old, 6 foot, is not gonna clap cheeks if he sees a big nyash being thrown at him? Like, be for real. Like, let's cut the crap out for now. Like,
so
let's stop acting like they're not going to clap cheeks because he can.
So getting back to your original point that single women are the problem because they didn't vet correctly. So now another sign that you were going to be relentlessly cheated on is that this man is over 6 foot and you should have known that he's going to have nyash thrown in his face.
Let me tell you, no. Let me tell you something.
I'll
tell you something, Kim. If a guy does get a lot of attention from girls, yes, he's definitely most likely going to cheat.
So you should have known.
No. You should have been prepared. No, be for real. Like, this is why you Fefails set yourself up. This guy gets attention from chicks without trying. And you somehow are hoping that he's going to be faithful to you?
I never said anything regarding that.
Now you're just being delusional. This is why you Fefails get cheated on these relationships. Like,
I'm
for
not
real.
being delusional.
No, not you.
I'm just
saying in general, gotcha. I was really talking to Kim at that point, but in general, let's be honest. If you met this guy, right? You like this guy. He's 6'2". He's taller than you with heels on, but he's 6'2", right? 6'2", and he gets a lot of attention. When you walk with him, girls are looking at him. You go to the restaurant, girls are looking at him. Even the waitress gets a bit giggity, like, oh, hi, do you want your order? He gets the attention. And you're hoping that he's going to be committed in the marriage? Don't you think you're gambling at that point with this guy? That's
Was
the
that
question.
directed to me or Kim?
But both of you, one of you can answer the question. Don't you think you're gambling this guy who gets attention everywhere you go?
If he has no self-control, then yeah, absolutely, that's a gamble.
No. You don't know about his self-control yet. He's told you he's very loyal and he's never cheated a day in his life. You know, it's all great in this it's all great in this relationship. He's never had cheat on you, not even married yet. Don't you think, is it not a gamble to hope that he's gonna stay loyal with you in the marriage? With all the attention that he gets?
In that specific example that you're using, it is a gamble.
Thank you.
So
Kim,
are you suggesting, so you're suggesting don't be with this man?
I'm not suggesting, I'm not gonna tell you
Because
anything.
you're saying we need to see the signs. So I'm asking, what does it look like to see the signs so I don't get blamed at the end of the day because I don't want to be with somebody anymore because they changed, and you're saying because they didn't change, I should have known.
Kim, that is a big sign. Like, I'm not telling you what to do, but because you asked me a question, I'm going to answer it directly.
Okay, but in general, anybody with...
Hold on. It is definitely a big sign that this guy is going to most likely going to cheat. Yes, it is. If he gets even unwanted attention, you have to be realistic. I know you Fefails love the guy who gets attention, but you're not gonna love it.
I think anybody with desirable qualities is going to get attention, is going to be desired. So if you have any desirable trait, somebody is going to want you. If ever anytime somebody wants you, you go for it and you're willing to cheat just because somebody gave you attention, then that has to do with your character. That doesn't have to do with being desirable. There are plenty of desirable people who don't cheat. So that's what I'm saying. There are so many desirable women who could get anybody that they wanted and they don't cheat.
Because for a man and woman,
why do I have to assume just because you're a desirable man that you're going to cheat?
Because
why is it my fault because I assume because you're a desirable man that you're not automatically going to cheat?
Different than women. That's why. And I feel like you don't want to accept that. You don't want to accept that a man is going to function differently than a woman does who has options. Okay? That's just, a man is just going to function differently. Yeah, it definitely does have something to do with his character traits. I'm not arguing against that. But the reality is, if you are with a man that's highly desired, then you are going to be competing with every single woman.
So it seems like the only solution is to get with an undesirable man. That's the only solution. Get with an undesirable man. But you know what? That's even worse. You know why? Because on the slim chance that undesirable man gets attention, he's going to be so starved for attention, he's going to cheat on you too. So you really can't win here. You should just know just because it's a man that he's going to cheat, right?
The difference is that a man who doesn't get a lot of attention that way now has to focus on other things that the man who's highly desired probably doesn't really have to. And that's the difference, is when you don't get a certain amount of attention, you are forced now to work on areas in yourself. Whilst a man who is highly desired, he can practically do whatever he wants because he can replace you easily. So, that's what reality does. And that should be the same with women as well. You see, a lot of Fefails think because I have so many options, I can act the way I want. But that's not true. You have options for men to clap your cheeks. But when it comes to actually getting a husband, you don't have that many options. That should also force you to work on yourself to get the man that you want to be committed to you. So it's not just men, it also applies to women. But a lot of you Fefails don't apply these rules to yourself because you get lost in I can get my cheeks clapped by how many men, thinking that's going to get you marriage, but it's not. Men, that's what I say, men get a reality check. Women don't.
want to go back to my original point. I think when you mentioned that, you said that we didn't say anything about the fact that women don't take accountability. And I think I did mention, I said there's a small percentage, probably within that 70% of women that do initiate divorce. But again, like a small percentage. And I mean, we can both do our prospective research on how many of that is. But again, I don't believe that it's the full 70%. But I did want to also address the fact that you believe that single women are the problem. Single unmarried women are unhappy. I think you mentioned this prior back. They're unhappy due to hookup culture, due to whatever various reasons I think that you used. I kind of want to understand why you believe that.
Because they're lonely and they want a family. That's what she said.
Yeah, I mean, no,
They have
that's not particularly. I mean, to some extent, yeah, but that's not just that. But the reason why, you see, this is my issue. You said it's not all the 70%, and that's my issue. The 70% definitely had a part in ruining their marriages, but because you Fefails never say that, I know you are the problem. You never say, you know what, yeah, the 70% of women, there's definitely something up with that. That's weird that so many women are willing to ruin their marriages. And you won't balance it out. You won't just be like, you know what, no, I believe that it's both them. No, you people say, no, it's the men. The men did this, the men did that. Men. Never, you know what? They're wrong for that. And the reason why I say, so that's one of the reasons, the divorce rate. And
Well,
this is what
initiation
Kim,
doesn't
and
equate to causation, but continue.
and this is what, I don't really understand what you meant by that, but the reason why Kim
Well,
made that response is because I was stating that married women are happier and the happiest. So clearly, if married women are happier and the happiest and seem to have more fulfillment in their life through purpose and enjoying life more, are not as lonely either compared to unmarried, childless women, then doesn't that prove that they are still the problem when they can't seem to even be fulfilled in their own singlehood?
well, I'm a problem. Also, I think there's a high percentage of women who are married, who do have children, that do die a lot younger,
Unalive,
in their
please.
50s to
Unalive.
60s. Sorry, unalive in their 50s and 60s prior to the man. As studies show that single, unmarried, childless women live longer.
yep.
That is a fact. Um, so again, I mean, there's nuances to all of these
And I also
claims that
heard
you are.
But you haven't
Can I?
actually answered my question.
that
So how
I'm
come
trying to.
but you're telling me, you're
being married
telling me,
lengthens a man's lifespan, but it shortens a woman's
hold on,
lifespan.
hold on. You're telling me about their lifespan, but I'm talking about their mental state. That's what I'm talking about. How come, if they are not the problem, how is it that their mental state is declining and is actually the worst compared to every other woman?
I mean, I don't know where you're getting your
Yeah,
research
I don't
from,
know
but that's
either.
not
I told
factual at
you
all.
it actually is. If you
It's
take a
not.
look at Institute for Family Studies, it is all there.
And I'm also looking at the National Health of Medicine, and it's not there. It also shows that 30 to 40% of single women, yes, do suffer from mental illness. But you mentioned earlier that it
I'm
was more
talking
than
about
that.
who's the happiest. I'm talking about who's the happiest. So married women are the happiest. So how come
What
unmarried,
percentage of that is
how come unmarried, childless women are not happy? I don't know why you females are struggling to answer that question.
I'm not struggling. am answering your
You're
question.
not. You're
You
telling me
only
about lifespan. What does that
I
have to
didn't say
do?
anything about I
You
said that
are.
earlier. I
Yeah.
said
So
that
what are you saying now then?
earlier. I said that earlier before your question came up. Now I'm telling you, you're only showing the studies, you're only relaying the studies of women who are happiest, who are married, who have children, but you didn't fail to give a statistic of the single, unmarried, childless women who are unhappy. Where is that statistic that shows that information?
Because
that
I'm talking
research?
about who's the happiest. So compared to every other woman, married women are the happiest. So my question goes, if they are not the problem, how come they are the least happiest?
I don't believe single women are the least
Of
happy.
course you don't.
I don't.
Yeah, you don't
Why?
agree with logic. That's
you have
really what it is. I literally
No,
told
it's
you
not
where
that I
I
don't
got the
agree with
source.
logic.
I literally told
Do
you
you
where I
have a
got the
child?
source.
Host,
I
do you have a
literally
child?
told you. I'm
Do
not
you
gonna tell
raise
you. I'm not gonna tell you my business. I don't know why you're making it personal.
No,
It's
but I'm
not that
asking you,
deep.
do you know what it takes to raise a children, to have a
I'm not
baby?
going to answer that question.
But
But
it's logic.
it's not
But
logic. It's not
it
logic.
is.
It's
It
not
is.
logic. No, it's not.
Raising
It's
a
not.
child?
My personal experience has nothing to do with this debate.
Okay, but then
It has
so
nothing to
for
do with
the
this debate. So you see, this
not
is
for
what you
you.
females. This is what you
No,
females do.
not
No, you make
for
it
the regular.
anecdotal. That's what you
For
do.
the
You wanna
average woman
hold
who
on.
has to raise a child, who also has to be in a marriage with that other person. I believe it still takes two people to raise a child. And I believe in family moral responsibilities. I believe in raising the child with values and morals. But it definitely takes an extensive amount of time, effort, and patience, and also a committed relationship to manage the household.
Yeah, we
And to
understand that. See, that doesn't change the fact that they are happy. See, this is where you
But are
females
they
think
happy?
you
But
no
are they
no the
happy?
happiest. I'm not saying, and I don't know why you're making it personal.
I'm not making
See,
it
you
personal.
are, because you're telling
I'm
me I'm happy. I never
I'm not
asked anything
asking you if you're
about you.
happy. You
No,
told
no,
me you're not sharing your
you
business with
said
me.
you're
So
happy. You said you're happy. I don't care
I asked
about
you earlier, and
you.
you said no. I don't want to share my business, which is
So
totally
no,
fine. Respecting
listen
that,
to what I'm saying, Sarah. You're telling
I
me
am.
I'm happy. You're telling
I
me
didn't say
you're
that.
happy. I don't
I
care.
didn't
I
say that.
don't care about you. I don't care about any
I
anecdotal.
asked you if you were happy, and then you said I'm not going to report my personal business.
No, of course
Okay,
I'm
that's
not.
fine. We don't have to
So
get
I'm
personal.
talking about the happiest.
The happiest women who are
The
married.
happiest, no. Even that whole theory has been debunked by Harvard. Even
That women are not
Harvard,
happy.
no, yes, that single women are the happiest. That theory was debunked a long time ago. And the woman who even made that article is being investigated for fraud. And when I learned that, I was
Mm-hmm.
shocked. Because a lot of single women were saying, we're the happiest, we're the happiest. Meanwhile, I swear, I was looking at that, I was thinking, oh, damn, I believed it. I believed it until I started to watch, a little bit more debates, do a little bit more research. And then I looked into the
Mm-hmm.
stats and I realized that's not true, actually. It's actually a lie. That's why she's even being investigated, because she lied to so many women. Like, it's actually dangerous to even push out and mislead such harmful information.
Okay, so I did look it up, and there's contradicting information. There's like an equal amount of data on both sides, so the results are inconclusive.
So the reality is, I don't know what you're talking about, Kim, but all my
I
information.
found the article that you were talking about. I found it, but I also found a bunch of articles stating the opposite.
Yeah,
So,
stating articles from the same place or different places.
from different places. When you're
Okay, then that's
fact checking information, you look at different sources. That's how
you
it
don't.
works.
You only look at org
And
or gov.
there's and
Okay,
if
you
there's
don't. You
research
can't be
from
looking
those,
at. You can't be looking at .com, education. No, that doesn't matter. It needs to. Every stat that you do your research on has to be backed by government. Or we're just talking about people that have done what, like useless articles, college degrees. It doesn't really get nowhere.
I mean, the one that you referenced, that was a survey. So
Yeah, no, it's a
self-reported
.org.
surveys.
It's a
Yeah.
.org. It's a
The
.org.
accuracy is questionable with self-reported surveys, but I still took it into account and I found an
It's
equal amount.
.org. So it's been backed by the government.
Yeah, and I found an equal amount of articles
So
stating
it's
the
been
opposite.
that's the difference. A lot of other surveys are not backed by the government. And that's what makes it different. So many people do surveys. I could go and do a survey. I could literally go on a website and make a survey about who wears makeup the most. Okay? I can literally do that. You can do that. You can do a survey of how many pick-me's exist.
Exactly, and who's to say where you're getting these people from?
Hold on, Kim.
If
Hold
you're
on, Kim.
if you're
Kim,
if you're
hold on. I'm talking. I don't know why you're talking when I'm talking. The difference is who is backing these surveys? Who is funding these surveys?
exactly, and
that's what I'm
who's
saying.
funding your survey is the
Hold on.
is a national institute about families. Like, don't you think that they're going to
So
want to push a certain agenda?
hold on.
You
No,
think
but
they want to put out
is
information
being.
saying that
So
single
listen, Kim.
child-free women
Don't
are
be
the
upset that
happiest
I got
when-
the stat. Okay,
No, I'm
don't
not
get-
upset because I found
I don't care.
there's nothing to be upset about. I told you
All right,
I found
then you're illogical then. So my stat. So you just admitted that my stat is correct.
No, she
You
said
just
your
admitted.
stat has your stat has
No,
discrepancy.
she didn't say that.
Yes.
No, she did not say
did
that.
say-
She
it
said that
has
she looked.
discrepancies. It
She
has
said
conflicting
no.
information.
No,
That's what
she said that she looked at other sources. I asked her, is it the same source or different sources? She said no.
you
I
don't look
at
at one source.
No, you look at .org or .gov. That's what you look at. So if you're going to look at other sources, it has to be also backed by the government, not by .com or someone writ it from university. That's what I'm trying to tell you. This is what you Fefails do. You go and look at a .com that
my
says
God.
single women are happy.
Why would I look
.com,
at, oh my God.
And you know what's
Right.
funny? You haven't even mentioned any place that you found contradicting sources. Where? Was it backed by Pew Research? CDC? None
If you
of
want,
that.
I can put the links in the comments if
No,
you
we
want.
don't need the links. You can't even tell me what you found because you know damn well it's not backed by .gov or .org.
There's
So
the
just cut the
American
crap.
I'm gonna put it in the
Population Survey from the U.S. Bureau that says that married people report slightly higher life satisfaction, but single women often report lower stress and more autonomy.
See, higher satisfaction. So
I
they are
did see that
happier.
too.
So they are
That doesn't say
happier.
higher. That doesn't say happy. It says life satisfaction.
Oh my
How
God.
does
So
life-
what do you think life satisfaction is? You don't think that concludes to happiness? Like, come on, be for real. Do you not
You're
think
saying that
life
they're more
satisfaction?
happier
No,
than-
do you
than
not
single
hold on.
people. That's what you said.
Do you not think life satisfaction concludes to happiness? You're
So
just lying now.
Contentment equals happiness.
You literally said they have a
Contentment
higher life
equals-
satisfaction.
So we
You
don't know
literally
the
said
denotative definition of satisfaction?
you literally just admitted that
Satisfaction-
they are happier.
No, I didn't admit. I said satisfaction.
Yes, you did. Because
No,
it
I
didn't. Because you know
didn't.
what, Sarah, you didn't say
I
that single.
didn't.
You never said that
I
single
said
women. Hold on.
satisfaction.
You never said that the single women are happier either. You said they're just less likely to be stressed, less likely to be this. You never said, oh, but single women are happier. I heard what you said. You said that for married women, their life satisfaction is higher. And for married women, their life satisfaction is higher. But for single women, they're less likely to be stressed. So you are backing what I'm saying, but you don't want to admit it. Yes, I could understand why single women are going to be less stressed. Yes, I can understand that. But that still doesn't change the fact that they're not satisfied in their life. Stop being disingenuous. I've had a lot of other females come on my live and give me stats that I can understand and actually have a logical conversation with. You females are just lying.
I'm not lying. I'm just telling you that I don't.
No, you're just lying because you
I
just
don't wanna
admitted.
misconstrue-
No,
I did lie.
no. You
didn't lie.
are because you're telling me
No.
because you're being disingenuous. It
I'm
said
not.
that married women life satisfaction is higher. Yes or no?
It did say that, yes.
Okay, then. And for single women, they're less likely to be stressed. Yes or no?
Yes, agreed. That's
So it
what it
still
says.
backs up what I'm saying.
You said
Married women,
happiest. You said happiest.
and where does it?
I'm not trying to make
Hold
a
on,
narrative.
hold on.
And
Are single women happier than married women?
it didn't say that.
Okay, so exactly, but it does say that married women life is more satisfying.
But does that equate to happiness?
It does equate to happiness.
So satisfied.
And you don't want to admit that. Of course it
I'm
does.
not saying I'm trying to admit that. I'm telling you from definition. Definition. Do we need to go to Web Story and then look for the definition of satisfaction?
About to do it right now.
Okay.
Okay. A fulfillment of one wishes, expectations, or needs, or the pleasure deprived from this. Okay? So if someone has the highest satisfaction, it will definitely conclude that they are the happiest because they are fulfilled with what they've done. They are pleasure with their life and their expectations and their wishes. That's why married women are the happiest. They are fulfilled. You're not going to be fulfilled and unhappy. Come on. Like, let's be for real. There's no one in this world that feels fulfillment in their life and is unhappy. That doesn't work that way. So stop being disingenuous and just admit that married women are the happiest. Case closed.
It didn't say that. It said.
Oh, now you're just doing too much. Come on. Are you telling me that someone that's unsatisfied in their life are going to be happy?
I never said that.
No, I'm asking you a question. I'm asking you a question. If someone that is unsatisfied in their life, are they going to be happy?
I just put a link in the comments from the...
Okay, Kim, please. I don't want your useless links.
From the National Public Library.
Okay. I'm asking Sarah a question.
From the National Public Library of Medicine, and it's stating the...
Okay, Kim. Okay. Sarah, is someone that is going to be unsatisfied in their life, can they be happy?
No.
Okay, then. So if someone is satisfied in their life, are they not going to be happy?
They can be.
No, that's not the question. Are they not going to be happy?
They can be. I don't know what is the exact.
So are you telling me someone can be fulfilled in their life and not be happy?
Yeah, that's very possible. Someone can allocate or have all the accolades in the world. They can have all the degrees. They can be married.
That's not fulfillment. That's not fulfillment. Fulfillment in the world. That's not fulfillment. Fulfillment is more than your accolades, money. Fulfillment is all the things. That you deeply want.
I said that. That's not fulfillment. Also have family. They can have children. So
if you hold on. If you are fulfilled in life, you are naturally going to be happy. You are naturally going to be happy.
Maybe.
It says fulfillment of one's wishes, expectations, or needs, or the pleasure derived from this. You are naturally going to be happy because you have fulfilled the things that you deeply wanted. You are going to be happy. And you're definitely, and you're going to be happier than most people. I'm not saying that they're not going to have ups and downs. They're human. But you are going to naturally be happier than someone that isn't satisfied in their life. But anyways, I'm going to lock off the live. What I usually do is I allow everyone to have their last say. So, Kim, you can have your last say, then Sarah. Go ahead, Kim, you can unmute.
Oh, I was just going to say there's contradicting information out there. I just found
a source, the National Public Library of Medicine, stating the exact opposite. So there's contradicting information. Obviously, this is a case-by-case basis. I don't like generalities, so I can't agree with the prompt.
Okay, Sarah.
Oh, sorry, I thought I was muted. I just want to take the opportunity just to say that I don't believe single women are the problem. I don't think they're the causation to the reason why there are not relationships happening right now or social relationships. I think they bear no correlation to the 70% of women that initiate divorce. I'm not saying that there's no accountability that needs to be had on either end, but when we're framing arguments and narratives like this, it does present a damaging rhetoric.
Okay, then. So I want to thank everyone that's joined me. My last words is single women are definitely the problem and always will be the problem. They are the problem to their own depression. They are the problem to their own low self-esteem. They're the problem to their own mental state. They are the problem to the reason why they're single moms. They are the problem to the reason why men don't want to marry them. They are the problem for every failure that they have endured in their life. I think it's about time Fefails just admit that they are the problem in their own life. It's no one's fault that they failed her. It's no one's fault that she failed herself. I don't know why Fefails always want to blame everybody else for what she chose to do and for what she did. Blame yourself. Blame yourself. Blame your mentality. Blame your niash. Blame everything about you except for the man that you opened your legs with. So yeah, single women are always going to be the problem. Because no one else is your problem other than you in our land. So once again, thank you everyone for joining me. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Sarah, for joining me on today's live. Thank you everyone on YouTube. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to everyone on TikTok as well. Thank you, M-Dog. Thank you, 4J. Thank you, China. Thank you, I'm the Great and Cool. I appreciate every single one of you. I want to give a shout out to the mods as well. Thank you, Miss Sweet. I see you. I appreciate you. It's always good to have you. Shout out to the mods. And Mona D as well. Thank you, thank you. I saw that as well. So big shout out to the mods. Follow Mona D on YouTube. She also does great content. So definitely keep an eye out on her content. She cooks these Fefails as well. So yeah. Thank you everyone. I appreciate you. Monday, I will be back on live. Same time. So definitely keep an eye out. And yeah. See you on Monday. Live.